No, no. Did you hear what TJ just said?
No.
She said she used to tell her friends before she was married, the ones that were doing the right thing, she used to talk against their marriages.
Ooh, that's deep. Wow. So let's get into that. Okay, black man, you got to translate this. I hate this because TJ is going in and out over here on my end. TJ, hear this if you can hear me. Why do you think you talked against their marriages or what the things they did within it? Why did you do that?
Well, that's the thing. I didn't know I was speaking against their marriages. I thought that, I thought that the men were trying to control them and take over the person that they were, and controlling their movements. Well, that was ignorance, because it wasn't a sense of control. They were submitting to their husband under the husband's authority, as they should.
Mm.
But out of ignorance, I didn't fully understand or appreciate that. So when I will give an example.
Right.
I I I'll just say my friend. We were going to I was in the military at the time, and we were going to work out. I invited her to work out with me, and she says, "Well, let me check with so and so, my husband, to make sure he'll watch the kids." I'm like, "What do you mean check with him? He don't check with you when he goes to play golf." I was completely out of line. But that was the mentality that I had. Why do you have to check with him? He doesn't have to check with you. So that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about. But she was doing what she was supposed to do, and I didn't get that, or I didn't appreciate it, because I definitely understand it now, and will grow somebody real. If they try to tell me that about my husband, it's going to be a situation.
Can I say something to that, security boss?
Yes, definitely.
It's funny you said that, TJ, because when women say, well, he don't have to check with you, in my marriage, my husband is never asking my permission to do anything. He still takes our schedule into consideration. I remember we had just had our second son, and he may have been 6 months old, whatever, maybe almost a year. But it was all before the pandemic, and he wanted to shoot pool with one of his best friends. Hey, E called me. He want to go shoot pool this weekend. I'm like, that's fine. And he always went after we had put the kids down. So it may have been 8 o'clock. Not a problem. But he wasn't asking my permission. But it is nice when a husband can kind of check in, like, hey, are you good? Do you need anything? Do you need to go somewhere? Do you need to? Thank you for considering me as your wife. Because this oneness, exactly. Yes, you can go shoot pool, not a biggie. He won't trip if I want to go to happy hour. Now, I used to complain saying my little getting out never worked because I would have to cancel if he had to go to work because I'm at home with the kids. But it's never a tit for tat. It's like, yeah, I'm cool. And I think as a wife, him going to work or having to go out of town for work, sometimes that's my little freedom, I say, my little quiet time. So when people say, oh, you don't need to be all up under your man don't need to be up all under you, it's like, no, it works out. It works out. It's never asking permission. As a wife, I still ask, like, hey, this and this is coming up. You mind if I go? You mind? Okay, let's check our schedule. Let's make sure, I can get the boys or whatever. So, especially as a parent, I think kids' schedules, who can watch, are you free? That all has to come into play in a marriage and just a relationship.
And absolutely, I think it's just not appreciating or not fully understanding, and just speaking out of ignorance, especially being that I did not grow up seeing that type of dynamic because my parents were not married. My grandparents were married, but we're talking about, they were very, very senior. So I didn't see a lot of the things that the dynamic between husband and wife. So, and not growing up with it, you just, you think something and you don't. But now, having grown into the things that I know now, that I've grown in the past, 10 years or so, I'm glad that I got my mind right, because I wouldn't be married now, and I would not be not just married, but successfully married, and appreciating and valuing my role and knowing what my role is, and thriving in it, quite frankly. So
listen, something that I thought about, and that's very real. So Hell, how are you? So much greatness and all in one place. Thank you for being here. So listen, guys, something I thought about, I've been thinking about it because I'm just trying to figure out what makes a good marriage relationship. What does the dynamic have to be? And I've come up with something that's very simple, and I want to hear what you all think about it. I think in order to husbands to meet your wife and vice versa, they need to be kind. We need kind people. Only kind people need to be married.
Oh,
It takes a certain amount of kindness to allow someone into your life, to become
Yes.
one with somebody, to sacrifice. If you are mean, halation, whatever,
right. Exactly.
devil, about drama,
Yep.
you don't need to be married. You don't have it in you. First step is to be kind. We have to be kind people. We got to be sacrificial. You have to be. It's just I'm hearing I was thinking about what Black Man was saying earlier about how the wife might speak to the husband, be like, "What you want?" What would make me say what I want to my husband? He's like the
Come on.
supplier. He's there when nobody else is there.
Come on.
You know.
No matter what you go through, he'll be
Yeah,
right
so
there.
I'm just trying to figure out what would make me so angry with them. What would make me so mad at them that I have to speak down to them or not want to be around them? What is that? And I'm saying we got to be kind to each other. And I do know that some past hurts and traumas may keep us from doing that. But guys, listen, we got to check that before we get to the altar, because again, red flag. If your woman doesn't have the ability to be kind, or you marrying a mean man, don't it's not, you just setting yourself up for some years of trouble and probably not a successful marriage. I mean, I do know people can change. Somebody said that earlier. People can change and they also can grow, because not everybody is socially mature at the same time. I get that.
I
And
agree with
that's
that.
a real thing.
Let-
But kindness has to be the first thing of the number one ingredient. I want to hear what y'all think. If y'all think it's something else, y'all let me know. But
Yeah,
seems like kindness is the first thing we need to look for.
and you know what the problem is? The problem is this. We haven't sermonically disconnected ourselves from the umbilical cord of the toxicity that created us. So what that means is, if mama grew up cussing out men and talking to me in any kind, can I use my preacher voice again? If mama start cussing out men and beating up men and shooting at men and wrestling with men and talking to men every other word she cursing, and you saw that growing up, and then you grow up and you get into your own marriage, most women don't understand that there's a generational curse that lives in them. And the reason that it stays around is because you still have that umbilical cord to your mama. You go over to your mama house and y'all laugh and y'all kiki and y'all have a good time, but nobody's discussing what happened when you were 7. And that little girl is still living in you. That little mean girl that didn't get what she needed from her mama is still living in you. And now it manifests itself that what you want, that's a 7-year-old girl saying, I didn't get the attention what the hell you needed for. If we still connected to our toxic mamas, we still connected to the toxicity from our parents that said, hey, listen, you don't need no man. Go to school, go to college, be independent, and do your own thing. Do your own thing. You don't have to listen to no man. The other night, I was on a platform the other night, my God, about 3 weeks ago. I want to say 3 weeks ago. And I heard a woman say, you don't have to listen to a preacher. You don't have to listen to a man. You don't have to listen to your uncles. You don't have to listen to no man. You listen to yourself. And when you listen to yourself, women, you'll be by yourself.
This is true.
I'm going to stop right there.